so let's talk about Monday and Tuesday's assignment. What did the leopard say after lunch? Okay, let's look at it. So this is just a continuation of sine, cosine, and tangent. And what we're going to be looking for and using is this trig table to help us figure out what some of those ratios are. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is remember the ratios from last week. So remember, sine is the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine is the adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. And then the tangent is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. Okay? So there's two ways that we can go about doing these first 6 problems. We can use the trig table that is here, or we can use our calculator. If you're going to use a calculator, you need to make sure that you're in the right mode, which is degree mode. When you get into Algebra 2 and Pre-Cal, you're going to learn about radians, okay? So make sure that you're in degree mode. If you're going to use your calculator, most of the calculators, you're going to be typing in the number. So type in the angle, 35, and then hit your sign button, and it will give you the decimal. Now, the decimals that are in the chart, and to help you answer the riddle, they've all been rounded to 3 decimal places. So this would be 0.574, okay? If you're going to use the chart, what you would do is you would go to the 35 degrees, go down to 35 degrees, and then because it's the sign, you go to the sign column. And so this answer is 0.574. Okay, I'm going to use the chart from now on just because it's a little bit easier and faster for me. So let's go do the tangent of 10. So I'm going to go to 10 degrees and go all the way over to the tangent. So 0.176. Cosine of 65, go down to 65 and make sure that you go to the cosine column. So 0.423. This is one of those worksheets that is super, super important that you actually go down and fill in the riddle at the bottom because there's so many places to make mistakes and you want to make sure that you get nice, pretty words down here and that it makes sense when you are finished, okay? Hey, so again, so today is the day, right? You really want to make sure that you get the riddle filled out. Make sure that you put those answers at the bottom because that's going to help you know that you're doing things correctly. Okay? All right, let's go do some hairy problems. Here we go. All right, so let's go try a couple of these problems, okay? So this is what this is going to look like and how this is going to work. So we're actually going to do these problems first, okay? And then we'll go back and catch a couple of the other ones. All right, so let's go take a look at this first one. If the measure of angle A is 40, then we want to find out what the ratio is from A over C. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Your focus should be on angle A. So this is where your eyeballs are going to start. And then you're going to identify on the triangle what is A and what is C. Okay, so as I look on the triangle, side A is on the opposite side. And then side C is the hypotenuse. Okay, so this is an O and an H. And so if I look up here at these ratios that I wrote down, okay, so remember the sine is equal to the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse side, okay, cosine, equals the adjacent side over the hypotenuse side. That's what these letters stand for. T is the tangent, which is the opposite side over the adjacent side. Okay, so we're going to use that. So remember we have opposite and hypotenuse, and the only one that works for is this one. So we're going to do the sine of 40 degrees. So using our little trig chart, let's go down to 40, and we're looking at the sine. So 0.643. Okay, let's go do that again. What if the angle was 55 degrees? Okay, so if you looked at the trig chart before with the first one, if I look at this one with 55, there's 3 different possible answers that are here. And what we have to decide is which of the 3 the answer is going to be. Okay, So let's do it again. From angle A, what is A and what is C? A is the opposite side. C is the hypotenuse. So which one of those fractions or trigs again has an O and an H in it? That would be the sine. So we're looking for the sine of 55. And the 819 is the one that's in the sine column. So that answer is 0.819. Okay. This one, what if the angle is 80? We want B over C. So from our angle A, B, this is the adjacent side, and then C is the hypotenuse. And so we need an A and an H. And the one that fits that one is cosine. So you're going to do the cosine of 80. 0.174. Okay. All right, last one. What if the angle is 25? So if this angle is 25, right, again, we have three choices. We just have to decide which one it's going to be. So let's look at our ratio, A over B. So from here, A is the opposite. B is the adjacent. And so the trig ratio that has an opposite and adjacent in it is the TOA, right? SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA in the bathtub, right? TOA, tangent. So we're going to do the tangent of 25 degrees. And so that's going to be the 466 number. All right, let's go get our riddle filled in at the bottom. All right, so let's get just a little bit hairier. Now we're going to go do it backwards, okay? So again, make sure that you fill this in. I promise. I've already made 2 mistakes today on this exact paper, and so this is going to help you make sure that you get them correct, okay? All right, so now we're going to go take care of these 4, and we're going to kind of sort of do it a little bit backwards, but the same idea, okay? So if you take a look at letter H, we're looking at angle A, right? So our eyeballs are focused on A, and we want A over C. So this time, we're going to find the angle that matches the 966. And if you look over here, 966 is right here for 75 degrees, and 966 is up here at 15 degrees. So we just have to figure out which one it is, okay? So A over C. Dun, 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 dun. From angle A, we're looking at opposite and hypotenuse. SOHCAHTOA. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine, and so we want the angle where 966 is in the sine column. So in the sine column, 966 is at 75 degrees. So this answer is 75. Okay, let's do it again. Letter E. Again, we're looking at angle A, so our eyeballs are focused here. We want A over C, opposite over hypotenuse again. Opposite over hypotenuse is going to be the sine, and so we're looking for when the sine is equal to 0.707, and that ends up being 45 degrees. By the way, when you get to Algebra 2 and Pre-Cal, you're going to know this decimal like the back of your hand. Ooh, you're going to know this next one too. Let's do letter Y. Again, focused on angle A, we want B and C. So B is the adjacent side this time. C is the hypotenuse. And so AH, right? AH is cosine. And so which one has a 0.5 in the cosine column? Cosine. There it is. 60 degrees. All right. Next, angle A, we want A over B. And so we're looking at opposite and adjacent. And so we're looking for a TOA, tangent, right? So where is the tangent? 1.428. Look at that, I have it circled already. 55. Okay, so that's how this works. Here's what's going to get a little bit hairier when you get to problems at the bottom. Okay, angle B is where your eyes are going to focus. So for all of these problems down here, now we're looking at angle B, and so your focus changes on the triangle, and what that means is that, as I erase it for you, what that means is that the sides are going to change, okay? The hypotenuse is always the hypotenuse. That never changes, right? Hypotenuse is hypotenuse. But here's B. Opposite of B is little b. So this time, your opposite side is over here, and your adjacent side is here. Okay, so those kind of do a little bit of shifting. So if we look at letter H, we start at B, right? We want A over C, so we're looking at the adjacent over hypotenuse, which is a cosine. So we need the cosine of 30 degrees. So if I come down to 30 and go to cosine, it's 0.866, okay? All right, see if that helps. That should help you get through the leopard page. Should help you also get through the lumberjack, which is exactly the same, just a different riddle, different bad dad joke. Shoot me an email if you need any help. Adios, adios, adios.